Thank you everyone for joining our presentation today on wellness and resilience. We have Doug McCanne from Portland Shambala Meditation Center joining us today. He has been a mindfulness meditation leader for 25 years, and this interactive workshop will explore tools to meet the daily demands of our lives. Thank you so much for coming and presenting for us today, Doug.
So the topic is well-being and resilience, and using some tools of mindfulness to rediscover that. That's what we're going to do today, and then how stress fits into all of that. We're going to talk about how the mindfulness it can be used as a tool for self-care and well-being. And then mostly I have some exercises that I like us to do together. And those will be ones that you can, there'll be techniques that you can take with you. We'll be giving you a handout. There's a handout available at the end that we can email over when, if you're interested. So the topic of well-being. If I use that word well-being, what does that bring up for you? What's a sense of well-being for you? I looked up well-being in the Oxford Dictionary I have some other words for it as well, and as like contentment and relaxation as an example. But the Oxford Dictionary says that it's a state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. So we're talking about it from a point of view of our own experience. We're not talking about it from the Oxford Dictionary point of view, because everyone has their own particular experience of well-being, I believe. As far as I could tell, I imagine everyone has some sense of what well-being is. And the sense of resilience then comes from that sense of well-being, or self-care as we talk about it. But the resilience piece of, the definition that I've been using for resilience is like a rubber band. The ability to snap back when we're stretched out. One example of that to me would be when you first wake up in the morning, there's a sense of freshness if you got a good night's sleep. Well-being and resilience come tied together. Our abilities to tap into our own well-being will allow us all to have a sense of resilience in terms of snapping back when we feel stretched out. That experience of well-being and resilience rests in the home of our body, as does stress itself shows up in the body. So today we're going to explore a little bit how the body is the anchor, so to speak, of how we can bring ourselves back into a sense of well-being, remind ourselves to be back into well-being, and to have some feeling of resilience. And, stress obviously is something that seems to get all of our attention. Not all of our attention, but we have an attention put on stress. So the stress of acute stress is the stress that perhaps what Catherine and I were going through trying to figure out the audio on this before the meeting started and not being able to get it together. So that's a sense of a stressful experience, but it's temporary and it's immediate. It got resolved and we've moved on. So that's sort of a sense of stress that always exists in our life. Stress is not something that's not part of life. Chronic part of stress is that we tend to hold on to that tension, the hypervigilance that happens around anxiety. What would be some of the other stressful words that you would use? Yeah, so there is a tendency to believe that the stress is existing in our mind only, maybe, or someplace else. But that's an example of how it really actually just shows up. It's in the body, as is the well-being and the resilience. So mindfulness is also something that's natural to us. So everything I'm talking about today is not anything outside of our own experience. And because it's within our experience, we can use it to our benefit, to our well-being, to remind ourselves to come back to a sense of the well-being that we remember. The body has a memory of that. There is a mindfulness meditation, but we're not talking about meditation here. We're talking about mindfulness because it's a natural, innate quality that we all have. In fact, the definition of mindfulness is our natural ability to pay attention in the moment on purpose. With that definition, can you think of some activities that you do already in your life that would point to? There's a long tradition of mindfulness being of benefit to human beings throughout the history, and currently it's used for in the medical scene in for chronic pain relief management. It's used with inmates and staff at prisons, a program I was involved with for quite a few years back at the Oregon Penitentiary. Olympic athletes use it. The Chicago Bulls basketball team used it. U.S. military now uses mindfulness. Police departments use mindfulness, and even it's being used in grammar schools. So it's widely accepted and understood to be of benefit. So that's why we're going to talk about it today, and try and remind ourselves of the benefits of coming back to being more mindful in what we're doing, and to be on purpose with it. That we can be on purpose with it and be with our body. So the value of anchoring it in the body is that, as an old friend of mine who's a longtime meditation teacher said, that the body is always present. The mind may not seem to be, but the body is always present. But would you say the value? So the value of being present An interesting question. What would be the value of being present? Sometimes, as we will explore a little bit today, being present with the conversation is being present with ourself in that conversation. How are we with that? As an example of being present, and how we can settle into the body as the reminder and as the anchor and as the home base. At this point, I'd like to invite us to start an exercise together, and just if it's convenient for you to close your eyes where you are, you can do that, or you can leave them open. You can have your video on or off. I'm going to gently invite you to join in this exploration of the body. Start with take your seat, or you're in a seat, whatever your seat is. Feel the seat. Have an upright and comfortable posture. You're most likely in a chair. And so being stable and somewhat relaxed in that posture, nothing tight. Notice tightness, be relaxed. Tight. We're going to gently find our way to the sensations of the body here, finding our body, being in it. We start perhaps by noticing, bringing our attention, which is the mindfulness piece, bringing our attention to where the body contacts the chair, the contact between chair and body. Or between where your feet and the ground, the floor. Or your hands contact your thighs, perhaps, resting on your thighs, your lap. And with that same sense of awareness and attention, see whether parts of your body, from your head to your toe, or from your toe to your head, perhaps, legs, lower legs, your upper legs, feeling the sensations of the body. Or torso, front and the back, the lower back, upper back. The chest area. Notice yourself not wandering away in thought. Just bring your attention back to your body. Sensation of the body. So you're at the shoulders. Or arms. The lower forearms, the wrist, hands. Going back up to the neck, on the shoulders, head resting on the neck, back of the head, the jaw, face in general, top of the head. Now, sensations of the body, gently allow you maybe start to pay attention to the breath. Notice the body breathing. Simple rhythm of the breath coming in and out. Feel the whole feeling of the body breathing. These exercises are all things that are available in the moment to you, to any of us, when we remember them. So if you practice them, try them periodically, there'll be a resource to come back to when you're sitting at your desk, when you're caught up in something that you want to be caught up in, perhaps. Come back to the body breathing, the body, the sensation, the tactile sensation of the body breathing. And the breath itself has also ways of working with mindfulness. Working with the breath is another way of the ability to work with the situation in hand, and it's immediate. So the next breathing exercise is called box breathing. I think this was something that was introduced in the military. I was introduced to it in the prison work I was doing by a correctional officer. So box breathing. It's like that. It's a box because there's 4 parts. So think of it that way. It goes like this. In, and you can breathe through your nose or your mouth. Either way is fine. So you'll breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold. You'll breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. 1, 2, 3, out. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, in. 1, 2, 3, hold. So forth. So it's in, 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, out. 1, 2, 3, hold. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a repeat. In, 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, out. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. And one more time. We'll do it one more time. In. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Finish. So all of these exercises and many more that there are about training our natural abilities to be mindful and the benefits of mindful that you're experiencing now. So you have the experience that these exercises can give, and they are now a resource. So that's why it's the natural nature of human beings to be mindful. We forget, and we need to be reminded. And these having some touch points like these exercises will help remind us, as well as just, again, the sensation of being in the body. When you notice you're in the body, I think it was Jody talked about her shoulders being up when she was feeling stressed or tense. The body gives us signals. That's the mindfulness in that aspect, is we're paying attention to the signals. We override the signals of the stress or the whatever it is that's coming up. The override is where we start to cause ourselves harm and where our health can be impacted.